Thanks to the support as a channel member, Glenn Liddell. I'm going to be passing around a collection box towards the end of this video because we need to raise £5.5 million so we can sign Afkir Omar permanently. So all donations welcome. We're about £5.25 million short at the moment. Hello and welcome to part 53 of the Tour de France. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two games for you in Ligue. We're at home against Lyon, we're away against Troyes, and it's the January transfer window. You know what that means. We need to find £5.5 million so we can sign European Golden Boy Afkir Omar permanently. That's right. He's just won European Golden Boy. That's quite a nice thing to win. Previously won by Jamal Musiala, Jude Bellingham, Pedri, Erling Haaland, João Felix, Matthias de Ligt, Kylian Mbappe. I mean, to be fair, Anthony Martial won it as well. Although I hear he's started scoring goals in friendlies, so he must be good now. But yeah, it's still quite good company to keep, really. And we can buy him for £5.5 million. His value is already in the £8.5 to £13.5 million range. I really, really want to buy him, but we have no money. What I have got is 3.18 million of next season's transfer budget. I'm testing the parameters of the game here because we've just had you're halfway through the season. Would you like to adjust your expectations thing? And I did. So all of a sudden, we've now got an extra £50,000 a week of wages, which now I've made the offer, I can't actually adjust the slider. But when I adjusted that slider all the way up there, it showed £2.5 million of transfer budget. So my thinking is that £2.5 million plus that 3.18 million for a player who's on loan for the season. So the permanent deal, I don't think goes through until the end of the loan. That's certainly how it worked for Vaquero. I think those numbers just about add up as long as he doesn't want paying too much money. We really, really want him, though. £5.5 million for a player who's got 14 goals in 17 games and his first season playing in Ligue 1. He's a 7.26. He's the second top scorer in the entire division. He's outscoring Erling Haaland. We need him. We really want him because we are looking good with him in the side. We are pushing for a European spot. We've got after 17 games played, so exactly halfway through the season, 28 points on the board, which isn't many different to what we actually finished last season with. We finished last season with 32. We have come on leaps and bounds. The media now think we're going to finish well clear of relegation, which is lovely to see. It's also interesting to see Vlahovic in the media Dream 11 as centre forward ahead of Haaland, but all four of those are Paris Saint Germain strikers. So that's what we're up against here. But I need to find a way to sign him permanently. As you can see, form has been great, largely because of goals being rattled in by Omar. Cyril Fowry, who was going to be en route to paying for him, has decided to pick up another long-term injury, his second one in a year. He's now got a hip injury. He's out for 3 months. My master plan had been to convince someone to pay 30 or 40 million pounds to him, get him on a 18-month loan back the way we did on Nguema, and reinvest that money. But now he's out injured for the entire transfer window. I mean, there's still the potential to pull that plan off towards the end of the season. It does become a lot more difficult to do, though. He is officially, by the way, a wonder kid. So that's quite nice to see. Looking through the rest of the squad, I don't think we have any other saleable assets that are going to bring us in the money that we need to be able to sign Omar permanently. Obviously, on Nguema, we already cashed in on. Fowry's injured. Vaquero, we've only just bought back. Kumbedi, we've only just bought. Same for Prevost and Thomas and Merlin and Frey. These two are on loan. Oh, by the way, this is a new guy who's in on loan. He's out of contract with Rennes at the end of the season. We're actually trying to sign him permanently, but in the meantime, he didn't want to discuss a permanent deal until we had him on loan. We brought him in on loan, and now we've been able to offer him a contract. So hopefully we can get him in permanently. So the next one down, I mean, the most saleable asset we've got is probably Shadow Deleste, who we kind of want rid of anyway, but we're not going to get £5.5 million for him. I'm starting to worry that we're just going to get the one season out of Afkir Omar, and that's going to be your lot. And that's going to make me very, very sad. Let's play a football match to try and cheer me up, because there's one thing that does cheer me up at the moment. It's watching this team play football, because we're lovely at it. So we're going with Prevost in goal, a back four of Kumbedi, Matsima, Kambuala, Big Willie, Frey, Thomas Lepenant and Vaquero in midfield, and then Millet out on the left and Guamer on the right, and Afkir Omar up front, who needs a hat-trick today to get back to being a goal-a-game striker in the league this year. That still wouldn't make him top scorer in the division because there's some guy playing for some club scoring some big pile of goals that... It's not Haaland. There's just this guy, and I can't remember his name or who he plays for, but he's scoring a frustrating amount of goals. And Lyon are a pretty good side. But remember, we did beat Lyon earlier in the season. But I would imagine now we've actually established ourselves as a top half team who are looking pretty good. We're in good form, good players. I imagine Lyon aren't going to roll over and let us beat them in quite the same way they did earlier in the season. We did manage to scrape the draw against Monaco, but since then, off camera, we've been absolutely thumped by Paris Saint Germain. I think we lost 5-0 against Paris Saint Germain. So I don't know. I think teams are starting to take us a little bit more seriously. And as a result of that, I would expect us to start losing more of the big games because we're now a better team. It's one of those weird quirks of Football Manager. When you're rubbish, you can sometimes get away with a win against a big side because they don't take you seriously. They put the reserves out. They can't get motivated against you. I think we're now hitting the point where that's not going to be a thing anymore. And teams are going to start just blowing us away, especially when we've not got key players in the team like Fowry, who is arguably still our most important player. Although both Nguema and Omar would probably have something to say about that. But they're both on loan. Fowry is our boy. So on that basis, I consider him more important because he's the one who's going to buy us a new stadium when we sell him for £40 million. As long as he can get rid of these injury issues that he's been having, which is a little bit alarming. 2 major injuries in a year. They are different injuries. So it's not a recurrence of, I think it was an ankle problem that kept him out at the end of last season. It's now a hip problem. But it is a little bit worrying. Again, it's that thing where I've played a player really regularly from really young, and then they start developing injury problems. I think it's probably related. We do need to be a little bit more careful developing our youngsters. But obviously that ship has now sailed with Fowry, and that is one of the greatest goals you will ever see in Football Manager. Afkir Omar is sensational. He's a Lyon player, by the way. He's on loan from Lyon. He scored his first 2 goals for us against them, and now he's scored an absolute worldie. And if you're a Lyon fan, you've got to be wondering, 1, how on earth they loaned him out? Why is he not in their team? And 2, how on earth have they got themselves in a situation where we can get him permanently for £5.5 million? They don't know we can't afford to do that. It's terrible business from Lyon, but we might not be in a position to capitalise because we've not got money. And Nguema's coming off. De Carpentry is on, who is a player I've been using quite a lot. I quite like him. So he's going to be coming into this attack. But we've got Nguema surging forward for one last time. He's another one whose fitness, he can never make it through 90 minutes of a match. And he's another one who's been playing regularly since age 16. Are those things related? They probably are. We just had to send him on a 2-week holiday. He's really struggling with his fitness. And that is Millet in. We thought we might have got 2 superstar strikers in on loan this season. I think it's pretty clear we only got 1. Millet is he's quick. He is quick. That's pretty much all he's got going for him, though. We're going to make a couple more changes to try and just keep things fresh in this team. Tutu can come on as well. We're going to take off Frey, so Kumbedi can go there. Cisse can come on at left back. I'd quite like to be able to change Big Willie, but not really able to at the moment. So that will have to do for now. Merlin can play in central midfield if he really has to. I don't really want to have to play him there because I've not actually tried him in that role yet. So I don't really want to be experimenting against a Champions League team, who we are on the verge of doing the double over this season, by the way. Prevost in goal, just taking his time. That's it. Take as long as you need. Rolls it out to Big Willie. Don't do anything stupid. He doesn't. He finds De Carpentry. We've got 4 minutes of time added on here. We just need to keep the football. De Carpentry again plays it into Lepenant, and then Kumbueda massively far forward. Gabriel Tutu plays it back to Richardson. It's 2-0. It's a first ever goal for the club for Emir Richardson. It's another assist for Gabriel Tutu, who really is starting to blossom playing in this wide midfield role that I've wanted to play him in for 5 seasons. He still hasn't scored a goal for nearly 2 years, but he is starting to clock up some assists, and that's a decent assist there, and it's a lovely finish from Richardson. And if these backup midfield players we signed in January carry on playing as well as they are, we're going to miss Cyril Fowry less than I thought we would. The main reason we're going to miss him is because we wanted to be able to sell him. But we've beaten Lyon 4-0 on aggregate. That's like the 3rd best team in France. This is reason for celebration. The only way things can get better now is if we really stick it to Lyon and find a way to sneak the Omar deal through, despite the fact we literally have no money. But hopefully our board won't notice. It works for Barcelona. Why can't it work for us? Well, 2 pieces of bad news straight off the back of that. Gaëtan Sop, who we brought in on loan with a view to signing him permanently, has joined us on loan, but then signed a contract extension with Rennes. So we've now just got him on loan for no reason. We've wasted a loan there. And Afkir Omar is not interested in entering contract negotiations with us. So despite the fact we've got the £5.5 million clause thing in there, we're not going to be able to sign him permanently. I think that dream is over. We just enjoy him this year. He's not actually going to sign for us permanently ever, which does put a slight downer on things, especially because the obvious guy we'd go in for instead of him, Double Steve, looks like he's on his way out of Nice. A £9.5 million offer from Hoffenheim for Double Steve, who's got 6 in 6 for Nice this year. He's also scoring for fun and is also probably not going to be an option. So we're going to have to do things all over again. I mean, there is still the potential, and this now becomes the goal for the season. If we can qualify for Europe, especially at the expense of Lyon, if we can qualify for Europe, we might then be able to sign Omar. He might discuss terms with us if we can promise him European football. I'm sad now. Right, just the one change from the previous game. We are going to try Merlin in central midfield against Troy. I think it's a position we might need to use him in the absence of Fowry. The other guys who we've got knocking around the place, Lepenant, Richardson, are all more Traore. They're all more defence-minded midfield players, whereas Merlin is a much more attack-minded player. So having him bursting out of midfield might be a useful thing to have. So we're going to try him in this game against slightly less challenging opposition. And if he's rubbish, then we won't use him anymore. There you go. Millet has grabbed us a goal. Use your words, man. I'm recognising that Millet might need to be our main striker next season. If we can't get Omar, maybe we need to throw more game time at Millet and see if we can maybe get him permanently. I think we've got him with an optional future fee as well. Let me just double check what's our future fee on him. 3.2 million. It is a more affordable fee. He's obviously not been setting the world alight in quite the same way as Omar, but if we can get him firing before the end of the season, he might be the one. Perhaps he's a more achievable long-time target for us. As it stands right now, boys and girls, we're in a Champions League qualification spot. Forget any idea of not being able to afford Omar, not being able to convince him to sign for us. If we can qualify for the Champions League, surely we can sign him, especially if Lyon aren't even in Europe. Surely. So forget negativity. Let's just finish as high up this league as we can, see if we can get in the Champions League. It'll be bonkers if we can, but then the money starts to flow. We start to get the reputation boost. It becomes more realistic for us to sign players like the European golden boy. Millet was getting into a very good position again there. He's hit the post, and he certainly looks like he is very lively in this slightly reshaped attacking front three. We've dropped Nguema a little bit deeper, which is where he naturally drops anyway, deeper and more central. So rather than having him as the attacking one, we've dropped him a little bit deeper and brought Frey in at right back, who really is a winger who can play right back, to be the more attacking fullback option. Kumbedi, who is a little bit more defence-minded, albeit a right footer, is natural on either side, so he's playing as a more defence-minded left back over this side. And then we've got Millet as an attacking inside forward, which is a position that either him or Tutu could play, which kind of cuts off the route into the front three for Merlin, which is why it's important to try and find a way to squeeze Merlin into the central midfield. There is logic behind it all. I do think about the game sometimes, believe it or not. There is thought that goes into this, but we have just conceded a goal as well, which does kind of mess up the Champions League aspirations that we had. If you're wondering why we're on attacking mentality as well, again, on the topic of thought going into things, I was finding myself having to switch to that in almost every game because we were either struggling to get a goal or we were dropping behind and having to fight our way back in. And as soon as we changed to an attacking mentality, we started to play better. So I just think we play better using an attacking mentality. So we're just doing it from the start now. That being said, we are under the cosh a little bit here. We've managed to scramble it clear through Kambedi, but it is Troy doing all the attacking at the moment. Prevo manages to hold on to this one. But if we could, stop that from happening, maybe go at the other end, score another goal of our own, and start pushing towards that Champions League qualification again, that'd be super. There is Omar receiving it from Merlin, laying it off to Nguema. Look how deep and central he's dropped there. I love it when he does that. And now he has Frey charging beyond him. And there is Nguema, very central again, started the move, was there to try and finish it off. Unfortunately, couldn't get the ball past the goalkeeper. But that's exactly how we want Nguema to be playing. And I think Nguema's won a penalty here. The free kick came in from Thomas. Referee is checking with the little man with the little telly, and it is a penalty. It's going to be Nguema himself to step up and take it, having won the original free kick, then won the penalty. He's now scored the penalty, and he's running off, clapping his hands above his head like he's having the time of his life. It's Troy 1, Tor 2, and I think this puts us back into the Champions League qualification spots as things stand. Obviously, still a very long way to go on this season, but it's a nice position to be in. Actually, Brest do move above us ever so slightly. Right, we're going to have to shuffle a few things around. After explaining my master plan, Frey is now really struggling. So Kambedi's going to go back over to that side and Vita can come on there. We've got a lot of very tired legs today. Vaquero can come off for Richardson. Thomas, I don't really want to have to bring Noah Fowry on. He's not great, but it's nice to have a Fowry in the team, I guess. And Nguema's shattered as well. Everyone is struggling a little bit for fitness. We'll make do with those 4 changes for now. Just the 4. We've got Deleste and Tutu both sat there on the bench very much as hangovers from our previous life as a Ligue 2 and relegation fighting team. I don't think either of them are up to playing anywhere close to European qualification, which is why they'll remain on the bench unless we really, really, really need them. Prevo launching it forward, looking for Omar. I've talked about this before. If there's one weakness Omar has, it's that he is never going to be physically dominant in aerial stuff as the lone attacker, whereas Millet does look a lot bigger than him. It's almost as if they should be playing the other way around. But Omar is such a finisher that it would be mad not to play him as a centre forward. De Carpentry with the cross. Richardson is there. Another big physical presence bursting out of midfield, but his header goes over, and we've given the ball away sloppily in midfield there, and it's back with Richardson again. And now Matt Seamer, who's just signed a new long-term contract with us, as has Big Willie. This is our centre-back partnership for the foreseeable, and Merlin has just missed an absolute sitter. Hopefully that's not going to end up costing us, because we are still only 1 goal ahead. It is very much end-to-end stuff still, and Merlin needs to be applying a better finish there. De Carpentry now on the right-hand side again. Can he find the cross? Plays it into Kambedi. Richardson now. Kambedi, who he's not quite got the Frey attacking instinct that we need as that more attacking fullback option. But there's Omar, and you would have put your house on him scoring there. The man always scores, and he's somehow managed to mess that one up. And I've just noticed Big Willie is struggling a little bit. We've got Deleste on the bench. It might not be the worst idea to bring him on, but we'll wait until the end of this highlight first. If we can grab a goal here, we don't need to worry about any more substitutions. De Carpentry is in! Would you believe De Carpentry has hit the woodwork? You can't write this stuff, boys and girls. I think we are just about going to hold on, though. And we do pick up back-to-back wins for the episode, which, if Paris Saint Germain hadn't scored 11 goals past us, when they beat us, we would probably be in a Champions League spot right now. We are close and we are in form, and we just need to keep winning football matches. If we keep winning football matches, you never know. We might do what we need to do to be able to side Omar properly. And that, to me, is almost more important than playing in the Champions League next year. Playing in the Champions League will be lovely, but we're obviously not close to winning it yet. If it means getting Omar permanently, then yes, please, we'll have a little bit of that. But for today, we will wrap things up there. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.